Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because I have so many updates for you. If you watched my latest bag collection video, that was about an hour and 40 minutes long. It was very long. I had a huge bag collection, and over the past few months, and especially these past 2 months, with a gazelle-like intensity, I have steadily and increasingly been selling, reselling, or giving away so many bags in my collection that I just either no longer use, or I no longer love, or I just don't really care about, So I'm just trying to simplify my life. We are also moving within probably the next year or so, and so I'm greatly trying to just declutter my entire home. And I decided, why not start with my bag collection? So in today's video, I am going to be sharing with you just the first, I'll see how many I can get through because it's a lot, but I'll try to get through at least the first 10 or 15. I will probably have to post another update because, again, I'm still going through this process. And then hopefully by the end of the month, or maybe early next month, I will have my final updated bag collection, and it definitely won't be anywhere near as long as it used to be. I'll try to keep it under an hour this time. But today I just wanted to share with you some of the bags that I did sell, who I sold them to, how much I sold them for, the different quotes I got. I had a whole list going, also the timeline. A lot of you guys have been asking me which resellers I recommend using, so I will list them all in the description below. So definitely follow if you're interested in going through your collection and really curating what you own, so you don't have a huge closet full of bags that just kind of sit there, which is what I have been doing for a long time. I had a huge closet. I love my bags, but my lifestyle has changed. I'm not wearing a lot of these, so I finally had to part with them, and hopefully they will go to new owners who will love them as much as I did. In addition to decluttering my closets, another way I simplify my life has been with Factor. This video is very generously sponsored by Factor. As a busy mom of 3, Factor is my favorite food subscription delivery service. Factor makes meeting your nutrition goals easier than ever by delivering fresh, never frozen, and dietitian-approved meals straight to your doorstep. They have a team of gourmet chefs that create each meal using only ingredients with integrity to help you feel your best all day long. Factor has a huge selection of delicious and ready-to-eat meals. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian approved, and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. You can choose from a weekly menu of 35 options, including popular options like Calorie Smart, Keto, Protein Plus, or Vegan and Veggie. They also have more than 60 add-ons every week, like breakfast, on-the-go lunch, snacks, and beverages to help you stay fueled and feel good all day long. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning for me and my whole family. I can skip the grocery store, prep work, and cooking fatigue. And when I'm busy during the week running around, taking my kids to their extracurricular activities and sports, I can skip the overpriced takeout food. Factor is a lot more cheaper and way more delicious. I can get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered straight to my door. They're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for me and my family. They also offer gourmet meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, truffle butter, broccolini, and asparagus. My family and I also travel a lot, so when things get hectic, Factor is super flexible. You can change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. So if you want to simplify your life, head to factor75.com and click the link below and use my code AHeatedMess50 to save 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. Again, that's AHeatedMess50 at factor75.com to save 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. Okay, sorry, I had to switch to my phone to record because my camera just completely died. But as I was saying, I have been tracking all the bags I've been selling on my phone here. And just to preface, at this stage of my bag collection curation, I've been really using 3 major resellers: Rebag, Fashionphile, and What Goes Around Comes Around New York. So I think I've mostly sold to Rebag, but it really depends on the style of the bag, the price quotes that I've been getting. The first bag I sold was the Chanel Heart bag. And so for all of these, because I don't have them anymore, obviously I'll just throw pictures up. But I did have the small Chanel Heart bag. I got it 2 years ago or so. I really didn't use it, maybe once. I just carried it on my shoulder. I ended up selling that to Rebag. They paid me $2,435 for it. And it, it was great. I hope it goes to a loving home. I really didn't use it all that much. So that was why it was the first to go, because I really just didn't use it at all. The second bag I sold also from Chanel was the Chanel Coco handle. And I think this one, yeah, okay, it was the black Coco handle with gold hardware, and it had the gold chain trim on the top handle. That I sold to What Goes Around Comes Around for $3,985. And for the first two, I wasn't saving the quotes that I got, but after this I have the quotes that I got from other resellers. So yeah, about 4,000. You know, there's little idiosyncrasies with every reseller. With Rebag, I really like that they use this kind of like an AI technology. I think they call it Claire codes, where you can just submit a photo of the bag, or you can even search the bag like through their inventory if you have something similar, and then you can mark what condition it's in, whether it's excellent, brand new, you know, very good, or slightly used, and then you choose the color, and it will give you an instant quote because they use this like AI technology where they can give you an instant quote and what they would pay you for it, versus the other resellers. You generally have to take pictures of the entire bag, the front, the back, the inside, the bottom, you know, any accessories, specify the condition, and also kind of write a blurb. You submit the photos and then they'll get back to you with a quote. And sometimes it takes several days to get that. And again, I just wanted to go through this as fast as I could. So I, more often than not, ended up selling to Rebag. But the second bag, the Chanel Coco handle, I sold to What Goes Around Comes Around for $39.85. That's what I ended up getting paid. With this reseller specifically, I think you have the option of choosing a hard copy check. I opted for a wire, and so with every wire transfer, they deduct $15. So they quoted me $4,000, but then I ended up getting $39.85 after they deducted the wire transfer fee. The third bag I sold, this one was probably my saddest so far because I held on to this because I just love the style. I love the design. I never carried it outside of the house. I just didn't wear it, but it was the Louis Vuitton On The Go by the pool. There were some where they had the location, the city's designs. I think this was just the blue by the pool. It had a really cute charm on it. I love it. I loved looking at it, but I just never wore it. So I thought, you know, it's time for me to let this go. Now with this one, because it was a limited edition, I did wait to receive quotes back from a bunch of different resellers. I ended up going with What Goes Around Comes Around. I got a quote back. The prices are depressing because obviously for a lot of these, unless it's Hermes or maybe some Chanel or just a very hot, like trending style, a lot of these prices went down, obviously, of, you know, what I ended up getting paid versus what I paid for it. Fashion File offered $1,600. That's $1,600. I also submitted a quote request, and I got back a quote from Bag Borrow Steel for $1,500. From Yugi, they quoted me $1,486, and then Rebag quoted $1,470. I ended up going with What Goes Around Comes Around because they offered $2,250. So I thought, great. The next bag I sold, also from Louis Vuitton, it was the Denim Neverfull. This was a limited edition Neverfull. It's the denim patchwork collection. I love denim, I love blue, but I do own one other Neverfull. It's the City's, you know, limited edition custom made one with your custom stamps. And with the denim Neverfull, I think I maybe used it twice. Didn't want to be concerned about the wear and tear of the denim, so I let go of it. This was also the first bag that was rejected from like getting a quote. So What Goes Around Comes Around, they just completely passed, meaning they weren't buying that style. Fashion File offered $1,200. And then I ultimately ended up going with Rebag, and they paid me $1,320. This was the LV denim patchwork Neverfull with the red trim. Bag number 5 I sold was also a Chanel bag. This one was a little sad because I love the color, but I didn't really suit my lifestyle. It's a little too dressy for me. But it was the Chanel Coco handle, and it was this beautiful iridescent blue purplish color. It was so pretty. I think only wore it once to an anniversary date night dinner with my husband. So I thought, let me sell this to someone who would actually use it and love it more. I submitted a quote to Yugi's. It says pending. Yugi's Closet. I don't think I heard back from them, or if I did, I didn't bother. From What Goes Around Comes Around, they offered $2,500. Fashion File offered $3,400, and I ended up going with Rebag for $3,550. Number 6 was the Hermes Evelyn. I was so excited. I was so happy that they offered this to me. I snatched it up. I even bought a matching belt. I love the style. I love crossbodies, and I love the color. I got it in the gold you know, like, which is like a camel brown, and I think it's silver hardware. I just never used it. I just didn't really use it. It was a little too small for me. If I needed something that small, I just have other options that I would use. And so then I was like, well, I don't want to use this Hermes bag. You know, I don't know what I was thinking. I just didn't use it. I have other bags that suit that purpose. Fashion File offered me $1,750 for this. What Goes Around Comes Around offered $1,800, and I ended up going with Rebag. They offered $2,300. Okay. Now, again, I never wore this bag, and I think I even sent it with the original box and dust bag, or maybe I didn't have the box. But anyway, it had the plastic hardware on it, on the hardware, it had the plastic on it, the sticker. I never used it, but when they got it, because they still have to inspect it, they had initially offered $2,300, but then they came back and said that they revised their offer, and I ended up getting, and I accepted. You can reject their revised offer, but they deemed that it had minor creasing and scratches on the hardware. So I was like, okay, I guess it came that way because I never used it. So if it had scratches on the hardware and minor creasing, that just was like the nature of the leather. And then the scratches on the hardware, that's just how it was. I never used it. But they modified their offer to $2,260. Like, not a huge difference. If it was a huge difference, I would have rejected their revised offer and then asked for them to send it back to me. Okay, bag number 7. This one was a bummer. The 7th bag I sold was the limited edition Fendi and Tiffany and Company collaboration. I was able to buy the baguette. It was the satin in the same like Tiffany blue, teal blue satin color. It was a beautiful bag. I loved it. It had this limited edition special packaging in the box and everything. I love the whole Tiffany. I love that they're doing collabs with tons of designers. I have a bunch of other stuff, but I was able to get the bag and I was really excited about it. And then I was also able to buy the micro or nano baguette, also in the same satin. I was so disappointed in the satin baguette, the mini one, because when it arrived, it was damaged. The stitching was like popped. It was fuzzy. Like, it looked like it had been drug across a table, like a rough table or something. I immediately sent it back because it obviously just was damaged. Because that was the same material, I was worried that, okay, I have the larger bag version of this. I don't want the same thing to happen in this, delicate satin material. If I had it in leather, that would have been great, but it wasn't available then. So I ended up losing a little bit of money on this. And again, if I had sold this private sale, listed it on my Instagram or YouTube or whatever, I would have been able to make more. But for the convenience and just the speed, I don't know, I just didn't want to deal with all of that. I opted to go with a reseller. So I accepted that it was a lot less in general for a lot of these bags. So for that Tiffany, the Fendi Tiffany baguette, in satin. Surprisingly, What Goes Around Comes Around passed on that style, so they didn't want to buy it at all. With Rebag, their instant buyout quote was $2,780. And then they also offer, for most of the quotes, instead of doing an instant buyout, you can also have the option of co-signing, where you send it to them and then they list it and then you get your money eventually when it sells, and that's usually a higher amount. But I just didn't want to wait. I just didn't want to deal with like tracking all of that. I just wanted to sell it outright. Okay, so their cosign offer, they give you an estimate, and that was varied from $2,575 to $4,025. I passed, and then I ended up going with Fashion File, who offered me $3,300. So that's fine, because I'm not going to use the bag. The next bag I sold is number 8, and this is so far on the list the oldest of all my styles. It's one that had been sitting, back here actually, not sitting, but hanging from the back of my door. It was the Gucci Blooms tote. Now, this style I bought from the Gucci outlet, so I appreciated that you can turn it inside out. I love the blue, but again, with totes and also with monograms, that was pretty much a lot of the styles that I was getting rid of from my collection, because I really don't use as many totes and I didn't really want huge branding and logos. So as much as I appreciated that style, I knew I really wasn't going to use it, so I decided to sell it. What Goes Around Comes Around passed on that style. Rebag offered a $560 buyout, or an option to co-sign with an estimate of $580 to $900. And I ultimately ended up selling to Fashion File for $700. And then this was also where I started doing a timeline of when it was shipped, delivered, and paid. It shipped 7/30, delivered on the 1st of August. They initiated payment on the 8th, and I was paid on the 9th. So what is that, like 2 weeks or so? Maybe a week and a half. Number 9 was the LV Nano Speedy. I don't think I used this bag at all. It was before the Speedy 20 came out, and that size better fit my phone. But I liked that the Nano Speedy had the crossbody strap. So if you are familiar with vintage styles, LV also had the Mini HL, which was like a really, really tiny baby Speedy, but that one was just a top handle, didn't have a crossbody strap. Then they came out with the Nano Speedy. That one did have the crossbody strap, but it was still very small. It really didn't fit my phone. I really had to stretch it for it to happen, so I never wore it. And this I've had for a few years now. I was pretty happy with the quotes I got. Again, what goes around comes around passed on that style. Fashion File offered $800 and then Rebag paid $900 for it. Same timeline around, it's shipped on the 30th of July. They received it August 8 and then paid August 12. So I think at this point, the timeline started getting dragged out a little bit, maybe because it's the summer. Once they get the quote, you send the pictures, you get the quote back maybe 3 to 5 business days, then you ship it to them, and that takes however long it takes. When they receive it, they still have to confirm that they received it, even though it was delivered maybe 2 days before. They'll confirm it 2 or 3 days later, and then once they confirm it, they go through the inspection process, and that takes another 3 to 5 days before then you get the payment. Okay, at this point I also started tracking how much I made from these sales. So as of August 12, and I started, the first sale was, I started selling this in June. As of August 12, so 2 months later, I sold $20,000. $20,700 is what I earned from the 9 bags that I sold so far. Okay, on to number 10. I used it, I loved it at the time. I didn't need it anymore. But I sold the Louis Vuitton On The Go in the giant monogram because I don't use that style. I got the Coach Empire carryall recently. I love how it's a little more slouchy. The leather is very soft. I just didn't want a huge canvas tote that was super structured. It's not a convenient carry-on, like personal item bag for me when I'm flying by plane. And even then, and it didn't have like a, luggage trolley pass through. I used it for work. It was a great work bag when I had to carry my laptop and, files and stuff like that. But now that I'm not commuting to an office anymore, I really don't need it. And also I just didn't, again, I don't want the huge monogram. I didn't like the logos. I'm trying to simplify my life. So I sold it. And this one, I got a pass from Rebag. I was surprised. So Rebag passed. Fashion File offered $1,100, which I thought was so low considering how much they are now. I don't know how much, like 2,000 to 3,000 or something. I ended up selling it to What Goes Around Comes Around for $1,800, and less the $15, wire fee. Got a lot of use out of it. It was great. It's still in great condition, and hopefully someone else uses it for work and loves it. I have a few more that I want to get through without making this video super long. But next up, we have the YSL Rive Gauche tote bag. I had that in black. I really like it. I like that it has snaps. I had an organizer for it, but I just, again, for a travel bag, it's not the most practical for me. I need shoulder straps. I need top handle. I need it to zip close. I need it to have a trolley pass through. It's great as a beach bag, but I just have other beach bags. I don't know. So I never really used it after a few times the first summer I got it. What Goes Around Comes Around passed on that. Rebag offered $580, which I thought was criminal. And then I accepted Fashion File's offer of $750. And just for reference, I found the receipt because I kept it in the bag, but I paid, I think it was around $1,100 or $1,200 for it at the time. And now it's, I think, close to $2,000 for just a plain canvas bag. So I thought, it's fine. This one was kind of a bummer because I had really been pining for this bag when I got it. It was like a whole thing. I did an unboxing video because the one that I initially wanted was damaged in the store. They sent me a new one. There was a price increase soon, but then I just never used it. It was a little too stiff for me. There were just other bags that I would reach for more than this one, but it is the Dior Montaigne in the blue oblique pattern in their classic navy. I don't even know how much it retails for. I think Dior bag prices are astronomical. And then also in general, there's a trend in this list. Dior bags did not nearly hold their value the way other bags did. So with the Dior Montaigne, What Goes Around Comes Around passed. By the way, this was in excellent condition, almost brand new. All the stickers were on the hardware, yada, yada. What Goes Around Comes Around passed. Rebag, they passed from doing an instant buyout. They estimated $1,840 to $2,720 as a cosign option. Again, I don't want to cosign, I just want to sell it. So I accepted Fashion File's offer of $1,300. I know that I could have made more selling this personally, but again, I just didn't want to deal with that. Number 13, I was also sad, but again, I just anticipated that I wouldn't use this because of the style and also because of the design, the coloring. but it's the Louis Vuitton League of Legends bum bag. I like hemmed and hawed about this for a long time, and it just sat in my closet, and I would try it, and then I thought, I just didn't use it. And I got it on sale. It was through the 24S LV, like their kind of like their outlet site where there's some discounts on their bags. It's owned by LVMH, so it's a legit website, but that's where I got it. So I did get it less than retail. What goes around comes around passed. Fashion File offered $1,200, and then Rebag offered $1,445 as an instant buyout. And I accepted their offer. And the 14th and final bag I will discuss in this video, because it is getting way too long, was the Dior Vibe. This was such a trendy bag, and I really did like it. I wore it. It was this really nice soft leather. I love the style. It was very casual. It matched just the way I styled my day-to-day, athleisure. But again, it wasn't practical in terms of the layout. I really like having a separate phone pocket, like a separate phone, like a slip pocket for my phone on the outside of a bag. So I just didn't really wear it. I wore it for a couple seasons, and then I was like, I just really never reached for it. So that one was a bummer because it was pretty pricey. It's all leather. It's very nice. Also, I noticed that the top handle, which I had wrapped with a twilly, was cracking. So I was like, that's not nice. And the prices, again, were depressing for the what it retailed for. And considering it's all leather, Fashion File offered $800. What goes around comes around, just totally passed on that style. And then I accepted the offer from Rebag for $1,325, but then they updated the offer, revised it to $1,295. So what, 30 less? Because I think similar reasons, it was wear and tear. I think they said it had a smell to the inside, and it might have been perfume, so that's my bad. But that is the final bag. So as of August 15, and we are in September, there are other bags that are still pending, so I will have to do a follow-up. I sold $27,275 worth of used or almost new bags from my bag collection. All right, guys, those are just some of the bags I sold so far. Again, I think I only covered 14, and I still have a lot more to go, and some that are still pending, which I will cover in another video. And then I will have my full and final revised, updated final bag collection. And again, it won't be anywhere near the hour and 40-minute long video from my last collection. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful and informative. Let me know if you guys are also kind of going through your collection and, getting rid of what just doesn't suit you anymore, and which resellers, or how you guys go about reselling it. But these are the 3 that I'm using right now, only because I just wanted to do it kind of quick. If I were a little more patient, if I had more time, more energy, more bandwidth, I definitely could sell it directly. And I might do that down the road. But for now, I just wanted to do a quick chop my collection in half and use these resellers. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.